You know, that's why old films are different, weird looking speeds and shit, is because they were hand cranked.
A lot of time, yeah.
And they're variable, right? Because they can't constantly do the right speed all the time.
What do you do? Well, I'm a professional cranker. Oh, yeah, I bet you are.
What's your average? Oh, I'm usually around 14 frames a second.
Till I get towards that tail end, then things start to
When my
slow.
fucking arm starts cramping up, I get down to about 8.
Yeah, when I go left, though, it speeds up really fast. It's kind of awkward. Everything looks like it's hyper.
And I need a fluffer.
Yeah. A lot of Java.
Java.
Back then when Coke had Coke in it.
Yeah, boy.
Yo. Cocaine. Coca-Cola.
Do you think they had
14 frames a second.
Do you think they had free refills back then? I need another one.
I don't know. More Charlie Chaplin.
That's why he's all.
Yeah. Probably looks different at the frame. It would be cranked.
There is some film documentary, something that's coming out or that has come out that takes those old films and corrects them for time so that they actually have the right frame rate.
Oh.
And so they actually move naturally and they add frames in.
Oh, God, I bet that looks bizarre.
Yeah, they're saying, and then they colorize them too, so they're supposed to look insane. Yeah,
Probably
producers
probably
we
looks
need-
more like a Resident Evil or fucking 9 Inch Nails video.
The producer's like, we need to do this action shot. We need 120 frames, so you better fucking go to the gym this week.
and a 12-pack of Coke.
Yeah.
Next week, I'll supply you the Coke, and you need to come in and crank the shit out of that thing.
Well, you know what the gym was back then? They get on one of those weight belts and it goes, yeah.
Oh, like the oscillating.
Yeah, like vibrates their gut. They're all, hey, I'm getting stronger, motherfucker.
Yeah. You gotta try this. No, I don't. Not even a little bit. Oh man, I can feel the weight just shaking the fuck away.
That's shit running down your leg, buddy.
I mean, I'm so in shape, I can't even feel the bottom part of my body.
I mean, that's not that far away from just being sliced in half.
Right, and then they went from like the shakers to like the tens unit things where they just slapped on the electrodes and
Yeah.
who is famous? Bruce Lee.
Did he used to do that?
Yeah, because
Really?
he was getting so busy in the movies
Oh, that was
that
his
he
workout?
was he would do his like writing stuff and directing and editing hooked up to like the tens unit stuff, so that way he would get his ab
So he's
workouts.
like talking, and he was like, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
You ever use one of those?
No.
God. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. To get like cranked up and you're like, oh, I can't really feel it, and like you put them like on your ab. I had like quad ones and ab ones.
Yeah.
And a huge device.
Yeah.
To like jack into, and you can like it goes from like bzz, bzz, to like you can like feel like a very small minor cramp, like oh yeah, I can feel it, and then like if you're young and stupid and you're like, dude,
Turn it all the way up.
hit me with the juice.
Yeah.
And oh wow,
That's some juice.
and you do it's like
doubled over.
or you hold the electrode and like your hand goes and you're like, give it to me.
Oh god.
Oh yeah, it's like instant palsy.
I remember in high school we had the science class that was held in the auto shop class, and the auto shop teacher was the science teacher. And so he had us all get up, and he had an alternator, and then and we all held hands, and he cranked it, and we all went, yeah. And I don't know that you can do that nowadays without going to jail, right? No.
I'm gonna teach you what it's like to get shorted.
Yeah.
So don't do it. Grab his hand and hold on.
Oh shit! It's just funny that we are in auto shop class, and he's cranking over an alternator and shocking all the kids.
Some parent would fire off a fucking nastygram email.
Oh,
You almost need that just to
yeah.
know what it is.
Yeah.
Like
This generates electricity, huh? well,
know,
I turn this and it does this, and then the coils and the copper, blah blah blah, and then it outputs electricity. Well, I don't. Okay, here, put your finger on
Yeah,
here.
you wanna know?
and put your other finger on here. Ready? Yeah.
That'll do it.
Oh, I
Okay.
get it.
Like
That
working
reminds
on socket stuff at the house, up in Grass Valley with Dad as like a kid.
Yeah.
Everything there is like handyman stuff.
Yeah.
And I'll be damned if my dad never fucking shut off a breaker. So the first time I did it
Yeah.
on my own, in my own, I think it was in an apartment. And like, I've done this tons of times.
Yeah.
I've seen my dad do it tons of times. It's no big deal. You get in there and you're like putting it into the new socket, and then you get the other one and it slips a little bit, and baby Jesus.
Oh yeah. Go.
Oh my God, what is
That
this?
hurt.
What is it? Dude, Dad, what? I fucking did something wrong. He's like, well, did you turn the power off?
You never did,
No.
motherfucker.
No. He's like, well, yeah, you got to flip the breaker. I'm like, dude, Dad, what?
Yeah.
He's like, well, I know what to do, dumbass.
That reminds me of when you used to tell me to put my finger in the cigarette lighter, and then I'd be like inching my finger in there, and I get in there, you'd be like, ah!
Yeah.
You
Don't do
get
that.
extra presents from Santa.
You don't want to be digging around in the bottom of the 12 volt. What's down there, Dad? Yeah.
Not just hold on to it. You're going to lose some weight.
Here comes the belt. Oh, fuck. That should have been in the show.
What? It's recording.
Whoa.
Just go into episode
We haven't even started
19.
yet. We have, what? 19?
18?
19.
19. That's what I'm saying. Welcome to episode 19.
Oh, we're here.
We're fucking here. And
Yeah.
we're out here now.
Oh, yeah.
We already don't have enough time to get to news.
I have shocked myself a couple times working in the house with I don't need to turn off the breaker. Yeah, fuck. All right, I'll turn off the breaker.
That's why I have the little, the touch pens, the voltage touch pens.
Yeah, who needs that?
When I go around stuff like, guess I didn't get that.
That breaker
Yeah.
was another one.
I just did something when I was doing some of the cans when I was testing it.
Yeah.
He was doing cans.
Yeah, when I was doing the cans.
Uh-huh.
I think in testing and pulling them out,
Yeah.
I removed them out of the ceiling. I came back here, flipped the breakers,
Oh.
did the thing, got the wires all out, but I hadn't actually changed the cans over to the new ballast.
Yeah.
So I'll get the rest of that tomorrow. Came back in here, turned the breaker back on, and the first
Then the house burned down.
The first set that I did the next day, I got up in the attic. It was the hangout with Mike.
Yeah.
Like I got up in the attic, I did the ballast thing, and I went over to the next one, and I went, I'm going to go outside and check the breakers and turn off the breakers for the other kitchen lights. Went to do that, did it, and then I went, wait, I didn't. Oh boy, did I get lucky, because I didn't shut when I went to do them the next day. The two cans that
Yeah.
I prepped, I didn't shut off the
So
breaker.
you had bare wires.
And I was just flinging wire. Jack this one, that one, just letting it all hang out.
no regard
like,
for any-
The breaker's off. Oh yeah, it's, wow, the lights went wrong. Yeah, I didn't.
Why don't I just then put it in there? I'm losing weight. I'm ready for that marathon.
Yeah.
Oh.
Anyway,
Well, welcome to an electrifying episode number 19.
it's a real shocker.
the Sad Dads Club podcast. What is the date today?
6th, February 6th.
Oh,
Yes, it is.
our show notes are wrong.
Is it?
Yeah, still in January. They're back in time.
Is that fall under the realm of the asshole production
No,
crew?
no, that's us.
That's us. The
Yeah.
creators. Shit.
That was actually me when I went and edited that, and I didn't put in the right.
Blew it.
See, I
man.
don't screw everything up, just most things.
Yeah, that's for sure.
I didn't proofread it. I just looked at my name, started making some edits.
Yeah.
Good to go.
Yeah, episode 19. Hey, Datas,
Yes.
where can you find us?
Everywhere you can find podcast plus or minus iHeartRadio question mark.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
what-
that's still not there yet.
So not there.
Oh, so you mean like on iTunes? You
If
mean like on
must.
Spotify?
If you must.
You mean on Google Play?
Sure.
YouTube.
You mean on YouTube?
Yeah, that's the preferred one.
Oh,
Hey, if
thanks.
you're listening to the audio podcast,
Can you also get it on our
Cover the video.
website,
Yes.
saddadsclub.net? You can get it there too and listen to it. How about that,
You know,
Davis?
we wouldn't be able to send it to you, but you could send us an email to request it at Sad Dad's Club Podcast. Fuck.
saddadsclubpodcast at gmail.com.
Yeah, there you go.
You got to make a song out of it to remember.
Probably.
That's why we're not getting any more emails because people can't remember it. We got to come up with a jingle. Like,
Okay.
Sad Dad's Club Podcast at gmail.com. You know, jingle.
Da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, yeah. So that's where you can find us, Datus. And thanks for the help.
thank God I know where to find a podcast.
Wow. Hey, well, you can find us for sure because now you know. I've just told you
Rate-
all the places.
rate-
I could just
review.
Google search it.
You don't even. What is? No one
Does that
even-
come up?
No one uses Google.
I mean,
I wonder what our algorithm placement is like. Although that won't work for you because you're a bias, so it's got all your. Well, I may get into that later, but you're.
I will go incognito.
Oh, there.
Oh,
you
he's
go.
biased anyway. So yeah, so we're into the show. This is it. This is the show. It's electrifying. Yeah.
Electrify.
So we did all that. What did we talk about last week? A bunch of crap.
Did it come up?
Oh yeah.
That's funny because there were so many other references to Sad Dads when we were making our looking for social media stuff. That was another like trio or quad out
There-
of the UK that had I think our Twitter handle.
There is
Same premise,
some
though.
other Sad Dad stuff out there. Actually, there's a guy at work who was telling me that he was trying to find our podcast, and maybe he only searched for Sad Dads and not Sad Dads Club, but that he found a podcast, and it was some dudes that do a podcast, but it's about music.
Mm-hmm.
And they talk about like an album. Each
That-
show is like an album that
Oh,
they talk about, which is kind of cool. But I don't know that I could talk about an album like that for an hour.
Hmm.
You know,
I enjoy music. I don't know if I have enough musical stamina to be able to converse about a specific album for an entire show.
right? Yeah.
I mean, I certainly have like favorites, but that would be. I mean, that's a lot of chatter about an album.
yeah. I mean, I think if I were doing a podcast about music, it would be like maybe you cover a band for a show or something
Probably.
and go over all their stuff. Maybe something like that.
Yeah.
But anyway, they would cover a whole album, and I thought that was interesting. And
Yeah.
I looked at it for a minute, went, I'm done.
Did they say what kind of music they were?
It was weird alternative music. So there was, what was the name of the band? Shoot, I can't remember off the top of my head, but they had this one band that had a really weird name, and the guy at work that pointed me in that direction knew who
Yeah.
they were. That's how he knew about. That's why he thought he ran across that podcast and went and got interested in it, is because
So he ended up finding a podcast accidentally that he enjoyed by looking
that he
for
found
us.
that he found interesting because one of the records they covered was
Oh,
something
oh.
that he likes.
Oh, gotcha.
It wasn't anything that I knew, and then I went through the shows. They didn't have that many shows, and then the I think they only had like maybe one or two shows that actually had a record in there that I recognized.
Yeah.
You know, so
He's wheezing like he's having an asthma attack.
yeah. Do you need your inhaler, buddy?
Oh, wow. And a snort.
I googled the worst band names of all time.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
The one that struck me was anal vomit. The second one that got me was "Let's Get Out of This Terrible Sandwich Shop."
That's the name of a band.
Yeah,
No. Sounds like something.
I bet you they're really good.
They were really, really reaching.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Let's get out of this terrible sandwich shop. Hey, that's a good name for a band.
That's what we should call ourselves, man.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So let's just get into it.
Yeah.
What'd you do? What'd you do this weekend? I need to know.
So Saturday I had a no.
I don't know. Did you?
And I had not much because it was raining. So Saturday I had a celebration of life services for a friend.
Yes.
I
recall this.
Yes, very. God, he was a good man. You know, I get.
You're bringing me down, bro.
You know, and that's the thing, though.
Yeah.
It was amazing. There's no reason to be.
Yeah.
You know, obviously his loss is missed, but the amount of people that showed up for this man, just it's good feels.
Yeah.
You know, you can only hope that. You know, certainly my perspective is that you do enough good and you touch enough people that it's reflected in who comes to celebrate
who you were.
Who you were.
Yeah.
He did, by my account, he did amazing, and he's done well as a dad as far as I'm concerned. It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was good to see. Good to see, friends and
I'll probably have like 3 people.
3.
Yeah.
These are your Twitter followers. 4 of which are you.
I just keep making Twitter accounts and then I follow myself.
You're like, hey,
yeah,
you look like a fun guy.
Yeah,
I am. And then because it was raining Saturday, so Sunday, and referencing the spring fever thing, Sunday there was like a small window where we had sun, and I got outside here in the back and I filled up the green waste can, and then the rain came back and I was like, victory.
Fuck
you.
Dad victory.
Yeah, haha. And so now, although the funny thing with the heaviness of the weed, the miners lettuce,
because it's so moist,
it's so dense
Yeah.
with water that it like makes the green waste can like filled with concrete. It's so
Yeah.
heavy. So I'll be interested to see what happens when the green waste dump truck comes by and like the hydraulic pump goes to like what the
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see.
You should just open up your can and let it fill with water.
Yeah.
And
Well, I mean, it's just probably short of, a third of the way full if you were to compress everything down to get the water out of the plant. I mean, it's dense water.
Well, people are how much water?
75.
You're in college boy. You tell us.
Yeah.
And also,
We could call your sister.
the thing. Okay, so the reason
She's
why
in college too.
you know the trick where you put your key fob up to your chin.
Yes.
You know why that works?
No.
Because your head is 75% water. So it uses the water as like an antenna.
I buy that.
So, if we put a couple bodies in your
It
green
would be
can,
just as heavy.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I scratched off a New Year's thing to get up into the attic. and you saw the pictures. I found so much loot up in my attic that I didn't realize that I still had. And now there's tons of space, so I've got everything directly, that I put the ladder here.
Yeah.
I get up there and I kind of just poof, right on the other side of the hole. And now everything is properly sorted and removed if I didn't have a purpose anymore.
Yeah.
I found a bunch of stereo stuff.
You could practically open a fries.
I'm pretty sure
It's a very small fries, but some sort of fries. Yeah.
the Habitat for Humanity store is actually the Sad Dads Club studio.
Yeah. Racing seat. And I used to have a fiberglass body kit for the Blue Z, which is no longer here, which is what the Tenzo seat was for. But in like 2 years back when I did the same thing, when I went up there, I went, I'm never going to put those on the other Z.
Yeah, I
So
remember you
I
talking
think I
about that.
broke them and I took them to the dump. And now I'm like, God, maybe I could have done like a carbon fiber project where I used those as molds and made those
You could have probably sold them to somebody.
probably.
You didn't.
But I didn't.
See, Data's just finds tools and sells it.
Yeah, yeah.
He's like, here's a tool. I'll sell it on Facebook.
You flip it? Tool flipper?
Yeah. Yep.
There you go.
Could have got more, but that guy got a good deal, so
And
it
then
was
you
for a good
got new
cause.
ones.
It's true.
Yeah.
Let's see. I did this week started my first iteration of running training for the marathon.
Yeah.
So before you guys got here, I did my first 3 mile in the new shoes. Felt really good. Tired. Okay, that's what that is.
Yeah.
That about wraps it
I
up.
thought about running 3 miles once.
And then
And I was like, yeah, it's cool.
I got this belt shaker thing.
I'm good.
I'm good, man.
I'm good.
Yeah, that about covers it. A lot of games are coming out that I'm excited for that I probably won't have time for, but that's all stuff that's probably coming in
It's because you're putting in the hours,
mid-February. Yeah,
putting food on the table.
yeah. Sad
Yeah.
dad.
Sad dad.
Sad dad.
Yeah.
What you got?
Well, so I think I talked about how I bought those damn chairs.
Oh, yeah. You
You notice I called them those damn chairs.
Damn chairs.
So we got some the new chairs, and we only needed 2 of them for our kitchen,
Okay.
and the other 4 needed to be stored. So I got some of those rubberized hooks, and went up in the attic,
Oh, we went to West House.
and went up in the attic with the drill to drill holes and put the screws in, and inadvertently stepped a little too far off of one of the 2x4s and put my foot through the drywall into my closet with a pretty good size hole, and that meant that I got to spend the rest of the day patching a damn hole in my closet.
You're just lucky it wasn't like the bathroom, because then you probably would have got like pushed into like a bathroom renovation project. So it's good that it was the closet. So did you get it fixed though?
Yeah, it's fixed. Yeah, it looks like shit, but it's in the closet, so who gives a shit?
No one cares.
Yeah. So I wasn't happy about that. I don't like when I do a project and then it ends up being a project doing something else because you screwed up.
Yeah.
You know? So that very much irritated
Are you gonna
me.
fix it though, or are you just
Fix it?
yeah? You just like it's in the closet.
No, it's fixed.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's fixed. If it turns out that it's not good enough, I will cut a square and take a new piece of drywall and replace it.
Would you even notice it if you didn't know it was there?
If I paint it, you wouldn't probably notice it.
Oh, okay.
Because we have 10-foot ceilings. We're talking it's at the 10-foot part of the top of the closet in the master. And so really, if you weren't taking a flashlight and like directly shining it on there, you would never see it.
It's in the abyss.
Yeah.
Of the closet ceiling. Do you have a closet light?
No,
We
it's
don't
not
need
even
it.
a walk-in closet. It's a
Yeah,
regular
yeah.
closet with
That's
really large mirror doors that are probably at least 8 foot tall. They're
Jesus.
huge.
Party doors.
Yeah. Oh, it's for checking yourself out when
Yeah.
you're doing things.
Yeah.
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 They don't go on the ceiling. They're just on the side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Profiles.
And on that note,
And on that note, all right.
so that was it. I mean, pretty much didn't do much of anything else. Beyond that.
All right.
Mom and Dad, what are those 8-foot mirrors for?
Yeah.
Blow
so-
drying my hair, son. And that's it.
Don't you do that in the bathroom?
Nope.
No, that mirror's too small.
It's a cordless blow dryer. Only works on your mom's knees.
Oh, shit.
And a belt that shakes me. Ow.
Oh, I've got tears in my
Yeah,
eyes.
that one's going to hurt later.
Ladies, you might as
Sleep well, buddy.
You might want to just take those headphones off for the next half an hour.
Melanie, if you're listening, don't ask questions. You're too young to know.
You've got the car of shame ride home.
And we haven't even started drinking the Four Loko.
Oh, I forgot.
Oh,
Damn.
Oh, Jesus.
I was pretty excited to find those Four Locos in that 7-Eleven, though.
yeah. I didn't think they actually sold them in California anymore.
Yes, we do.
So that'll be.
Why is Yuba City part of California?
We could just call that the Jefferson State.
Yeah.
That's what they want.
I don't really consider my armpit part of my body either. It's kind of like Yuba City is the. I love you, Yuba City. I'm just kidding.
No, really, get the hell out of there.
But if you were gonna find it, it would probably be in Yuba City.
Oh, here's my Yuba City.
Yeah.
While we were waiting, somebody actually cut us in line twice. So if that,
Yeah.
if that says anything about you, the shit.
You getting Four Locos, huh?
I guess
Wow.
nobody respects a guy with a three Four Locos in his hand. So I guess maybe that's why I got cut. Or
Yeah.
it's probably just because it's.
I just kind of want to forget I'm here too, son. Sure you don't want 5?
3 is not nearly enough
Yeah.
to forget where you are.
When I hit 6, I think I'm in paradise. That burnt to the ground. Yeah, better than here.
At least nobody's there to bother me.
Oh, man. You know, I just saw something. Speaking of paradise, it's sad as shit, man. It's like they're getting victimized again, for real.
Really?
I just saw this thing on the news that they were saying if your piece of property has a structure that burnt down in the fire, that you cannot have a trailer on the property because
Hazmat?
it has to do with the city losing funding from FEMA or something.
Okay.
And so everybody who lives up there that has a trailer that's living on their property next
Lost
to their
your wallet.
burnt down house has to now fucking figure out where to go because they can't stay on their property now.
That's not bullshit.
That is
at all.
harsh. That's like super harsh.
That does make sense. You know, at the speaking of paradise, there was a gentleman at the services on Saturday who was, I think, might have been fire department, and he was talking about having to go up to paradise as part of like a cleaning. Oh, there it is. So, and I know it's still there's still cleaning going on. They're still taking
Yeah.
stuff down to so that people can start. Last I heard, people were still not. I mean, every place
Accounted for.
well, not being let in yet because of hazmat stuff. You know, it's just.
The people that own my house are up there working right now.
Are they?
They have been for the last couple of weeks or months. They're like building just whatever.
Are they?
They're building whatever.
Yeah, whatever they need. I guess they're building up there. So.
I said, so
trying
I'm
to-
curious to see. You know, I wonder what the FEMA thing is. Like
They literally had
They're
like
not getting a-
it was like a city. They had a city hall meeting, and they had the city hall. They had to vote on whether or not they were going to allow people to stay on their property in a trailer. Because if they allowed people to stay on their property in a trailer, then they lose this funding that's
some sort
like
of
millions of dollars.
based off of residents that are habitable.
I don't
See,
I
that
don't
would
know.
make sense to me if FEMA was cutting a check to the city as relief for all of these pieces of property are not habitable. Habitable?
Habitable.
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 I'm putting the wrong emphasis on
Yes.
the syllable. So I could see that maybe that's why that
Yeah, well-
hey, if we want to continue to get X amount of dollars from FEMA, we need to have X amount of pieces of property that can't be lived on, and if you've got your trailer there, then obviously that makes it
Yeah.
habitable.
Habitable.
Syllable.
English. It's a funny language.
It's so hard for me right now. So yeah.
Yeah, I thought
interesting.
that was pretty sad though. Now they got to.
So is construction going on, like rebuilding homes and whatnot?
Yeah, I think they're rebuilding like the necessities, and then I think the homes are coming
Okay.
as well.
All right.
A lot of jobs, I guess. Hopefully, as soon as spring, the weather clears up. And,
Do
you know,
they-
I
Do they
imagine.
get snow?
I
I don't know what the elevation is there.
don't think
I
so.
don't think so. I think snow is a little bit.
Maybe they're around 1,500 or so.
Yeah. The buttes are weird. I mean, I know it would get cold.
Yeah.
I mean, it gets cold. But kind of just depends. I don't remember. Chico wouldn't.
I don't think cheap.
It was like off the wall, like as much as Roseville might on occasion, or Auburn on like rare days. God, those people.
Now, speaking of rare days, are we going to get to news
Yeah.
this week?
Yeah.
Holy crap. I feel like we were like had a turd that we had to get out.
I think a lot of it depends on what, like prairie dogging it.
Oh, no.
News is so close.
Yeah. No, I love you.
No,
Don't go. Sorry.
that's an 8-foot mirror. Let's not waste it.
Shit. No, I know. We always, we were, yeah.
Yeah.
We just like right now.
Yeah.
Too busy with the mirrors.
Yeah. I'll let you go first if you want.
So mine might be long.
That's
Is
what
your-
she said.
Yeah, well, that's they all say. Okay, so mine was more broad spectrum. Mine had to do with essentially all of the news that we got for Facebook all last year. It really had to do with, it was a compilation article of all of the things that we saw headlines for relative to Facebook through 2018. And I had started cobbling together the amount of articles that started in 2018, like on my own, like off to the side. Whether it was privacy or congressional hearings or things that were going on over in Europe. And the closest thing I found was this Vox article that had already done that for me. So it's relatively neutral. I mean, they do their best to just cobble together and just point out all of the headlines themselves and what the substance was for each of the things.
I mean, is the gist of it like basically saying that the Russians are still...
No. Well, so really what it's going to circle around to, my main point, is that our data is not... Facebook is monetizing your data, right? And so a lot of the things that they got caught doing or are in trouble with throughout the bulk of 2018 had to do with oversight of the problems. Obviously, their whatever their problems are with Russia and how they were tied into that and the election and whatnot is one aspect. But a lot of that was a rabbit hole towards, well, okay, so who has the data? And Europe really was like the bleeding edge of, well, we want to know, because at the time our legislators were all just heads up their butts or whatever, who knows. But Europe was holding their feet to the fire much sooner, and that got us like the Cambridge Analytica stuff, and that was taking your data and running it through algorithms and analytics and all these other things, and then processing it with psychological profiles to get like these target audience messages specifically for a set of people, to give you, an ad or a political message, or to generate a meme or some sort of traffic to a specific subset of the population based off of data that you didn't even know you were essentially sharing. And that that also just kind of like started to snowball towards the end of the year. It was like the closer we got to the more people asking questions, the more dangerous it starts to look when, if you're a passive user of Facebook and you're not paying attention because maybe you're not a person that has any reason to be concerned with your privacy settings, or how did I get that message or that ad or something in Facebook for toilet paper when I was in Walmart? Like oddball things. When you look at the access that Facebook has to your stuff, the recent publishing of Apple removing certificate. Oh, we out of space? Ah, que lo bueno. Apple removing certificate stuff so that Facebook can't end around some pushes to get, it just, really? And that the conversation for me then gets to all of these other places where your data is essentially being monetized and sold to companies. So pay attention. I mean, we saw Ford saying that they were, in order to increase profits, they were going to start selling user input data on the infotainment systems to companies as to what's being used inside the car. And
Ford is, I didn't know that.
yeah,
They're
as well as their
pulling down data.
Yeah. As well as their finance arm, as like, so the amount of your loan, the people that defaults, the type of loan payments, people that pay off early, all of those analytics, they're considering pulling because they have that data. So then they could sell it blindly to someone that could use that to compress, like make loans that approach a certain demographic better, or make it more tantalizing to get some sort of, well, if you put it at an interest rate of this for this long, then people tend to, who else?
I think what's more concerning is like, how are they getting that data out of your car?
My car uploads Wi-Fi.
It does?
Yeah. So when I get a new
So you
update,
park your car in the garage, it'll...
yeah, and if I get a new update, also their apps, the Ford Sync app that you use,
They constantly update.
They'll pull that. Yeah,
Wow.
I'm sure it's in the license agreement. Who else did I wrote down? The
Interesting.
23andMe.
Well, I know someone like Tesla does.
Right.
But I didn't realize Ford was doing that.
The
stuff too.
23andMe, the DNA stuff,
Right.
they sold, it was, what did I wrote my number? There it is. $100 million. $100 million they sold DNA data to, drug companies to like mash medicines and research against.
Wow.
Let's see. Oh, that was $300 million. Ford, 100 million users pulling stuff for the Ford Sync apps and their infotainment stuff and their finance arm.
So is this location data and
Probably
usage
all
data?
the metrics that your car can pull from, like the ECU that goes through the infotainment system.
ECU stuff?
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's just Ford, and they were just open about it. Who's to say that the newer fucking Hondas, Nissans, all that integrated maps are all there to upload it anonymously. Who knows? I mean, you wouldn't think Facebook was doing that. They're not telling you they were, but they did. It's like, so
Yeah,
what
well,
is?
Then I wonder, is Facebook seems to be really taking a hit here.
Right.
But is Facebook's user agreement or whatever, end user license agreement, does it cover this stuff, or is this stuff they're doing outside of
stuff
that?
they're doing outside the box.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't use I use Facebook. I'm a Facebook user. I don't use it enough I don't really use it for news.
Right. Yeah.
I don't, You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like it's not a.
And it's so here,
I don't.
and here's
I don't
the,
get too concerned about Facebook.
the
But
other thing was we played Ingress. Ingress did it. And
Oh, yeah.
Ingress was pretty upfront about it, especially in the early years, because what they were doing is
well, how could they not?
Yeah, they were taking the analytics and movements, and they were and the pictures of the portals, because they were really geared around art, parks, landmarks,
Right.
historical points of interest. They were using all of that data from the gamers to populate their other application, Field Trip. So, they.
Is Field Trip still a
I
thing?
don't think so. No, I don't think it's.
Well, it's not Google anymore, right? It's
No, they're
it's
Niantic. They're on their own.
Niantic.
So they had, and that was unknown. I mean, I knew going into probably, I don't know, I was probably ignorant of the first year I played until someone pulled apart the APK, and then you're looking at like, oh, well, where's this data? Why do you need all this access to that? They're taking metrics, and that's fine. The amount of stuff, all that data populated for Pokemon Go. That
Yeah.
and I'm sure Google was more than happy to repurpose that data for Google Maps.
Well, let me ask you this.
Travel times, all that stuff.
We know what kind of data they have, or they typically end up using, which you get pooled in with a lot of other people with, right?
Yeah.
What kind of data would it take about you to make you get upset? Like, what's the the metric that goes that you finally go, oh, okay, this is enough?
See, I think that's the
Medical data.
My end lesson would be that I do is I proactive as I can about the security policies. Like I go here, I try and tighten things down as much as I can. Now there's give and take, right? So I am a relatively blank, benign. I have a Facebook login, but
there's two different kinds of security we're talking about. We're talking
Right,
about
and
we're
you
talking
can
about
only
security between you and Facebook, and you and the outside people looking at you.
Right. So I can only be as protective and understanding as I am with the stuff that's presented in front of me. Now, if they go sideways, I'm done. It's uninstalled, and there's nothing I can do
The thing about Facebook is, in my mind, they only have as much data as you put into it, which means you go on vacation or you do this or you do that and blah blah blah. That's all data that if you choose to post, they have, right?
Not necessarily, because they have access to your contacts, to your messages.
I think
That's true.
And here's where it kind of spiderwebs out, and where it gets like iffy. It's like, well, me being as stripped down as far as what I do on Facebook, if anything at all, is only as good as stripped down as Venus is. Now the catch-22 here is that everyone is using it. So Venus, we're essentially relegated to needing to have some sort of footprint there, because everything the kids do and most things, even socially, are so integrated with it that you can't escape it.
Right.
So even if I'm really good about my privacy settings and Venus is okay, we are still caught in a essential sharing data network with the person who's friending Venus, who's wide open.
Yeah.
Who shares everything.
Well, that's
So
what I
then-
was going
then
to
the-
say.
so
Are you upset with the person who's wide open that's got Venus as a contact, or you as a contact?
So I think that's part of the conversation.
yeah.
It is up until this point, up until what I think is 2018, it's fun, it's useful. Every once in a while I go in the privacy settings, but I'm not really concerned. I think the conversation needs to be, hey, if you want me tied to you in Facebook in any way, all I'm asking is for you for like a once over to like give an extra thought to the platform because the news, and not just for Facebook, right? The news for we went through it. Facebook, Ford, and tons of other vendors are using your data that you may not know you're sharing. Or being leveraged elsewhere.
I see this. I think the privacy stuff it's more at the forefront now because it's more easily accessible. It's more available to all these companies, right? Whereas in the past, like prior to social media, prior to the internet being a prevalent thing, your data was out there. But
there's ignorance, right? And unawareness.
It's your data was out there, but it was harder to get to. It was stuff that you threw in your trash that you didn't shred. Right. All that stuff was much harder and not easily gathered in bulk.
Right. You had to go to a city hall to get your paper records for your home loans, for your driver's license, DMV.
It was much harder to gain access to that stuff. Whereas nowadays, people go on social network and they maybe consider the privacy settings or not or whatever. Your stuff's out there much more prevalent now.
Right.
But the thing is that what I don't understand, aside of like hardcore financial ruining of people where people are stealing credit card numbers and your ID, your identification, and taking out loans in your name and things like that. What in the privacy or in today's climate is negative or affects you negatively? You know what I mean? What part of the data that's out there in Facebook land that maybe is just a post about going on vacation or a post about going to a coffee shop or going to the movies or talking, a picture of friends. What about that data would be troublesome?
Okay. So let me post it to you this way. When someone calls you to take a survey, how often do you answer the phone?
Never.
Okay. So what if someone answered all of the survey questions that you would answer, but you didn't have any input on it? Would that be troublesome to you? You just gave all of the answers to someone, like you had a choice. If someone calls to get, hi, I'm calling. I was just wondering, what age are you? What's your height? What's your weight? What's your political affiliation? And what'd you have for dinner last week? Did you go out? You have a choice to be like, I don't want to answer those questions. No, thank you. You click buy.
Okay.
If someone is taking all that data through an application or your car data or whoever, and is uploading that to someone who's going to parse that, where you didn't have an option to opt out, and then you start getting in your mail, you start getting ads for crepes and pancakes. You're like, what's the deal? Well, I had Facebook on, or I asked Siri where crepes and pancakes were, and someone sold my data to crepes and pancakes.
That's for me the two things that I don't like about Facebook. If somebody posts a photo of you, Facebook knows your face, and if you click on it, it'll say say it's me. This is Chandler Schroeder. It knows. It has
facial recognition.
Yeah.
Which I don't like. The second thing I don't like about Facebook is I am pretty damn sure they have access to your microphone all the time and it listens. Because I was in the Bay Area a couple months ago with a buddy, and there's billboards down there that were advertising Shenyang. It was like a play or whatever in the Bay Area. Has nothing to do with anything up here. It was like a show strictly in the Bay Area. We were joking about going, so we said the name a few times. And then like a couple days later, I had ads in my Facebook feed for Shenyang. I wouldn't really ever go. It's a Japanese play. There's no way I'd never looked it up. I had never Googled it.
You don't live in the area where it.
I
where
live
it
in the area. I would
Yeah.
have no idea it even existed unless I had said it out loud. And there's no way that my phone would think that I would ever want to go to that. And there's no reason should ever push me ads for that
Right.
when I would have never.
Yeah.
I don't Google things about Japan. I don't do anything related to Japanese culture. I don't. It definitely listens, and I've
Yeah.
had a few experiences when I've talked about something and then I see it like an hour or a day later in like an ad on Instagram or Facebook, where it's like here's what you were just talking about. And I think that is totally sketchy. And I think it's
so
reason enough to delete Facebook.
So for me, it's really not about as much as like Facebook hate as much as it is this is the new normal. Like as far as it's a devil you know thing.
Yeah.
There are it's not just Facebook. It is give some awareness and another second look to things that might be taking your data or your preferences or whatnot, and you know, where does that go? Ask a question, I think, is really what my end game was. Facebook just seems to be an easy target because, to me, of late, they're at the top of the
They're the
list
evil empire.
of people like completely obliterating trust. And you know, I just wanted to use this platform. It was super handy. It's super helpful. You know, and it seems like you took advantage of my overuse. Perhaps in some cases it was ignorance, sometimes perhaps blissful ignorance. Like I don't want to ask these questions. You know, I went through here once. I just don't want to know. Sometimes it's over abuse. Someone that you're friends with that has wide open settings, and you're caught accidentally. You can help out.
Yeah.
Across the board by just asking a question. It's like, well, where's my data go? You know, can I get all of my data off if I wanted to just leave the platform? You know, questions. Can I tighten this down any further? You know, maybe I don't have all of my accounts completely intertwined with Facebook, so I can just do everything via Facebook. Maybe I'll untie or something.
Right,
one
right.
thing.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I mean, I see that, and I would, you know, I'm not trying to play devil's advocate necessarily, but just kind of asking. That's kind of where I was at. Was like, well, I mean, okay, you have this cross section of data, and it's also jumbled in with data with other people,
right? And it might be anonymous,
yeah,
and I get that, but some of it may not be.
Yeah.
So, and we don't know, and because there's been. Right, for me, you have to go to the least common denominator, and that is some may not be stripping that.
Yeah.
So as a passive, on the fringe security person, I have to account for some people may not be doing that, may not be sharing or selling that data anonymously. So my name may be tagged onto it. I accept that. There's nothing I can do about that.
Yeah.
But I can continue to be diligent about what am I sharing? Are my privacy settings set as comfortable as I can make them and still contribute and use the app? Yes or no? If no, then maybe I can tighten them a little bit down and still continue to use the app.
Well, it's always important. I think the most important thing would be to be really conscious about how much information you actually put up there.
Right. Yeah.
And the less information you can put up there that you're comfortable with, the better.
Yeah.
And then kind of go from there. I mean, I've gone through my my privacy settings, and I'm not typically worried. Lately, it hasn't been too much worried about privacy settings when it comes to other users.
Yeah.
Because I know I have those set up right, but there's no privacy settings that combat what is going to happen if Facebook decides to do something with whatever data you've got up there.
Right.
So you have there's no say. There's no options for that. I mean, everyone tells you to go through your privacy. Well, those privacy settings are between you and the outside world, not between you and Facebook.
Right.
And I think just when you think of it in that regard, the less stuff you have up there, the less Facebook has to do with it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I used to use Facebook a lot. I used to use Facebook a ton, but I've really backed off on how much I use Facebook.
Yeah. Like I said, I have an account. I don't use it. Venus has an account. She uses it more, but that's, and I get it. It's not necessarily like, I mean, you could do it cold turkey and just delete it, but it's still very, very useful. And you can't escape most school activities without being tied into it in some capacity anyway. So,
well, I saw an article that I didn't have to read it basically because the headline was essentially, I loathe Facebook, I use Facebook, and here's why I'll probably never leave Facebook.
Yeah, it's
and
hard.
It's hard to get away from that, especially when a lot of the people that you know over your lifetime, which you probably care about keeping in contact with, are already on there.
Oh, yeah.
And there's not any other platforms that are similar in sharing life stuff that are comparable to Facebook.
Yeah.
There used to be another couple places, but MySpace comes to mind. But they just didn't do it as well as Facebook did.
Yeah,
at
not
the
to
time.
the universal awesomeness. The juggernaut.
Google Chrome or Google
G+.
Plus.
Well, that's going
Right,
away
and they've
anyway.
got their own, right? Google got busted just too, right?
Yeah, oh,
All
yeah.
of your user stuff has been...
That's the reason why it's shutting down, because they can't afford, or they don't want to take the effort to patch that stuff.
God, it wasn't used enough anyway.
Yeah. Well, that was a
No
terrible
real
network.
sad story.
No,
Yeah.
that was a terrible network.
Oh,
It had some benefits, but beyond those minor benefits, it's just a terrible network in general.
I saw the best meme about that. Gotta find it.
So yeah, that's interesting stuff.
That wraps mine up. What
All
do you
right.
got?
What do I have? I don't even remember. Let me. Mine's not so serious. So I thought this was interesting, because apparently there's this teacher in Florida was angry at the school principal, and the school principal had rented a park pavilion for a birthday party.
Okay.
And so this teacher who was angry with this principal decided to go to the park early and smear feces all over the park pavilion where they were going to be holding this kid's birthday party, and got busted for it. I just think that's fascinating.
Human feces?
Yeah. So it says, here, the substitute teacher in Florida was so angry with the principal that she smeared human feces around the park pavilion that the principal had rented for her child's birthday. And then that Heather Carpenter, 42, this is a 42-year-old woman,
It's for kids, man.
faces a single count of criminal mischief over $1,000. And it says authorities said they became aware of the incident
When she was shitting on the walls?
when a witness reported seeing a woman wearing blue gloves and a mask placing human waste and fecal matter on the porous wooden tables and grills.
Good God.
Can you cook me up a hot dog? I mean, come on.
Oh, my God.
The smell hit me, and I noticed that she did it to every table. It was a mixture of urine and feces, and she had it in a big cup and was just pouring it out and wiping it in.
You presume it was hers?
Yeah, I would imagine. I mean,
So she went to the trouble of pooping in a cup
pooping and peeing
or scooping it out.
or scooping it. Maybe that's what
And
the
then
gloves
probably
were for.
like
She was cradling it out of the toilet
macerating it so that it was a
mixture.
slurry, not a flop.
Slurry.
and then chucked it
And then poured it out onto the wooden surfaces of the tables
like
and
she was
chairs.
sealing it with bar top resin.
And the grills.
And she had a mask.
A mask and gloves on.
Because, safety.
She pled not guilty.
Did she?
She did. Yeah.
Oh, I just found this cup.
She says that she
Thought it was
well,
chocolate
she
sauce.
pled not guilty, but then it says here that she admitted she intentionally placed the feces in the pavilion to disrupt the birthday party.
Was it insanity?
It cost the
How
county
do you
more than $2,300 to replace tables and grills.
Yeah, that's instant
Yeah.
fuego.
You can't. I don't think you can clean that off.
No.
Yeah.
Human waste?
No.
No. That shit's getting melted or burnt down. It's game over.
So I thought that was pretty interesting.
The city's like, oh yeah, hepatitis. Yeah, let's do that one.
Yeah.
No big deal. Did you
mean-
bleach it? Yeah. Well, fuck. Yeah. No.
What happened? I mean,
Perma-sue.
what's the deal with Florida, first of all?
Good God, right?
And why? What happened between her and the principal? What?
Well, yeah.
What
and why would you do
happens-
that to a little girl or a little boy who I don't remember if they said gender for a birthday party?
It doesn't say.
Man, just go to that dude's office and just hose it down there.
Yeah.
Put it in a desk drawer or some file cabinet in the back. Dude probably never find it and think he just crapped his pants when he let one go.
I just.
That does not. People, man. Florida, man.
Can you imagine being so angry with somebody that you.
That's the idea you come up with.
Yeah.
Not like
Oh.
slash tires, but like,
It-
you know. Oh my God, that's the idea.
Bing! Oh, Jesus. I just.
And now I've
that's-
got to like. How do I keep this sealed? No, I have to have a sealed cup.
It's so wrong.
Do I saran wrap it or do I just twist on a lid?
So I guess they caught it in time so that the party didn't take place, which I guess is really a good thing, right?
Yeah.
Because they saw
How's
her.
that call?
She got
call
caught.
go?
Yeah, she got
Ring.
caught spearing stuff around.
Ring ring. Hey, did you have a party at the Park Pavilion? Yes, it's my daughter's eighth year birthday party. She's so excited. Yeah, there's shit on the tables and barbecues. No,
We're gonna have to cancel.
We're gonna have to cancel that.
Yeah.
Also, do you know blah 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 blah? It was her.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. So I don't know.
It's time to go.
That makes me sad.
I'm told you were literally shit. Yeah, that's it.
That's what was in the park bench.
Yeah,
Google Plus was smeared all over that
Yeah.
park.
we'll just make you a circle.
You're gonna go
Birthday
nice on this
circle.
grill with a hamburger and a hot
God.
dog later.
People are terrible.
Yeah, I don't know. There's something about Florida. What is it about Florida? I think Toast probably escaped at the right time or something because
Apparently,
the people are. Is it the humidity? I mean,
I don't know. I mean, it could be worse. It could have been Virginia. She could have been in blackface doing it.
oh jeez,
Yee.
with a KKK
You
cap.
got the hood. Virginia is slowly
Yeah.
turning into the new Florida in the last couple of weeks.
That's true. Except it's all the governors and the
Assistant directors.
yeah,
Assistant
whatever.
Attorney General.
The Attorney General. Yeah, didn't he get accused of? Was it the Attorney General who got accused
Yes,
of?
the lieutenant governor is accused of sexual assault,
That's what it was.
and the attorney general, did one of those well, I also may have on occasion worn a blackface, dude.
on occasion. What, you just go home and
When
put
I
on?
was young and stupid, I also did racist stuff like paint my face black.
It was just for fun,
Just for fun. Really?
dude.
Dude.
Yeah,
Party's over.
step down.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's terrible. Anyway, where are we looking at time-wise?
105.
Oh my God! All right,
But we nailed news.
we did. We got news.
It's a show. Look at the thumbs go.
I know. They go pretty quick. It's a generational thing.
You know what I saw? We're going to get through this one quick.
Okay.
Did you see Avengers yet? The one where they all
No.
pixelate out.
No.
Okay.
No.
In the end, one of the
Is that
end-
my homework?
It could be. In the end scene, it's because of the novelty.
Oh.
In the end scene, Sam Jackson has a beeper
Okay.
that he uses to call Captain Marvel.
Uh-huh.
Now, I don't know if you had one.
I did.
It was because there was a couple. It was the one that was the screen was so think long, like a Altoids box.
Yeah, my screen was always on the top.
Right.
that
So this
strip.
one is the newer versions of those, like
Okay.
the second, third gen ones. So the screen was on the flat side of the
Okay.
top of it, and it had like the 3 buttons. So it was a bigger screen. There was someone that was talking about beepers and it being in the trailer, and someone had it was a meme of like the original ones that was, the thin, and it had and it was digits.
Yeah.
Digits
That's
only.
all. That was what mine
Yeah.
was. Yeah.
Doot, 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 and
Yeah.
just a number to call back. Like,
Yep.
And I totally remember doing the
Uh-huh.
right. That was the move.
Uh-huh. Yeah, what? Yeah.
Right.
I think I got that because my wife was pregnant with Datas.
It was the one thing I could afford because I couldn't afford.
I think it was
a phone.
like $10 a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Just send me your number
What?
at 911 and I'll call you back, babe.
Yeah.
Must have been after the mirror situation.
Yeah. I get paid.
It
all
was
of them.
it was post mirror, pre Chandler.
Yeah, because you couldn't wait. You probably no. You can't do a M. It's just mirror 911. I gotta go home. Put on a show with the blow dryer.
It's cordless.
Anyway, It just brought me back
Yeah.
to the move.
I think I still have
And
my
the old-
pager.
Old beeper.
I still have it.
I'm sorry. What are you guys?
He doesn't even know.
Pager?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does not compute.
T9 was amazing compared to beepers.
Imagine if we painted all of your phone except one strip at the top. The only thing that thing showed was numbers. Text you.
Dude, I should be in a competition for that. I'll shred
Fuck
that.
up some T9.
I'll shred that
bro.
shit, dude.
Said no, bro, ever. Man, I can squat 365 pounds. Yeah, but I can fuck up a T9. What?
I actually just turned off the QWERTY keyboard on my iPhone and just have a T9.
Tap, tap,
People
tap.
got. I mean, that
Tap,
was
tap.
a thing for so long.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right.
Anyway.
Well, that was good. Thanks for listening to episode 19.
19.
Find us everywhere you can find podcasts.
He's still hanging
Hope you,
on.
if you catch us out on YouTube, let us know what you think of the new tail
Yeah.
and end.
Just comment in there, hi, Datas, and I'll see it.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
It's lonely.
Pimp it out.
You have a girlfriend, dude.
Yeah. Pimping it out.
Did you say you were lonely? Because that's
Yeah.
what I heard.
Yeah.
It's a lonely life, man.
You ever thought about getting an 8-foot mirror?
Actually, I do have one of those next to my desk.
You can borrow one from your mom. You.
I don't know. That thing's seen things that if I look into it, I'll see it too, So I'm not gonna.
You gotta just
All
walk
right.
in there one time and let your mom see you staring at the mirror.
Next time I'm there,
in
I'm
like
just
a
gonna,
flop sweat.
just gonna look at
Chandler,
it.
what are you doing?
Why was there a GoPro suction cup mount stuck to this thing? I can see the outline right there.
Anyway,
All right.
thanks for tuning in. See you next week.
Thanks for listening, guys.